Imagine if you could control your social skills with a push of a button. Well, in today's video, I'm going to share how I obliterated my shyness and found a new level of confidence that I never knew I had before. So get ready to level up your social skills. If you lack social confidence, it's not your fault. A lot of people have positive reinforcement from when they're young. They do social interactions, people are nice and kind and reward them and keep this social conversation going, and they get rewarded from when they're young, and they keep getting rewarded, and this builds a level of confidence. And some of us are unlucky. We don't get this positive reinforcement. In fact, we get negative reinforcement, and people tell us not to say that. They don't respond when we ask them questions. They ignore us, or people have negative responses when we do ask questions. And this negative reinforcement creates a cycle. We don't really develop the social confidence, the social skills we need to interact with people. And we don't really realize we're going through this negative feedback loop because we're young. And so if you think you can't succeed with social skills, it's not your fault. And I'm going to put that limiting belief to bed, because your social skills are in fact a skill you can learn, and it's within your control. But the problem is society wants you to think it's not. People will tell you that, oh, he's born with confidence and charisma. In fact, he's just had positive feedback loops that have created that. And we can create that for ourselves, because people aren't naturally confident. They become confident, and we can do that too. Confidence is a skill, and I know you want to become confident. In fact, you probably don't even know what the word confident means. It comes from the word confide, which means to have full trust. So I've been able to develop full trust in my social skills through gamifying. So by the end of today's video, you're going to have a simple game you can start applying to go out and improve your social skills. So in the space of a year, I went from someone that was really shy, had no social confidence. I was a brick wall. Whenever someone spoke to me, I only responded with one-word answers or one-sentence answers. So I didn't have much confidence. But now I'm able to work at a clinic for 10 hours a day, and I'm able to keep conversations flowing for over 10 hours. 10 different people. I know how to keep conversations flowing. I know how to initiate and start conversations. I know how to remember people's names and talk about them and talk about their interests. I no longer fear talking to people. I never give any one-word short responses anymore. In fact, a year ago, this wasn't even the case. My social skills were so bad, I couldn't even look people in the eye when I talked to them, or I couldn't even ask people a basic question like, how are you? Because I was so fearful of the response. That was because of that negative feedback loop that I had. And so I started seeing a psychologist, and they really helped me with creating a game for myself, so I was able to get out of this negative feedback loop and create a positive feedback loop for myself. So the first task the guy gave me was to write numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down on a piece of paper, and next to the number 1, write what's an easy social situation for me, so talking to my parents or a friend. Now what's number 2, what's something a little bit harder, talking to someone at university or work, and what's about level 3, a little bit harder than that. Maybe talking to someone I don't know at work, or someone I don't know at uni. Okay, what's level 4? Maybe talking to someone I don't know at the gym, or someone I don't know out in public. Okay, now what's level 5? Or level 5 would be, going up to a random stranger and asking for something. Okay, that's level 5. Now you have 5 different levels, and what you've got to do is go to level 1, try and do that 10 times. Now, once you've done that, go to level 2, do that 10 times. Then level 3, do that 10 times. Level 4, now you've got a new level of confidence. It's going to be a bit harder, but you can try to do that 10 times. Then once you've done that, go to level 5. So you've got this progressive overload where you're really trying to expose yourself to different social situations and build confidence. So that's your first actionable step for today, is to write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on a piece of paper. What's the easiest social situation for yourself? All the way down to level 5, which is going to be the hardest situation for yourself. Underneath what you've written down, you're going to write down every day of the week, so Monday, Tuesday, all the way down to Sunday. Each day you're going to calculate how many points you get. So if you interact with someone at level 1, you get 1 point. Level 2, 2 points, 3, and so on, up to level 5. So each time you interact with someone at level 5, get 5 points, and you're going to calculate how many points you get throughout the day. Now once you've done that, you'll reward yourself after you get a certain amount of points. Say you get 10 points throughout the day, you're going to reward yourself with watching YouTube. Once you get 150 points throughout the month, you're going to reward yourself with something something that's small, then you gradually increase the rewards as more points you get. So maybe 300 points you might get a new pair of shoes, or 400 points you might get a new phone. So try and get new points and try and set targets and aim for yourself to try and achieve. And so you're creating even more positive feedback loop. So now you should have how many points you get for different social situations. So you've got the 1 to 5 ranking. Now you should create a habit tracker for yourself. So I've got a 52 week, plus each column's got days of the week. So at the end of each day, I'll write down how many points I got through the day, and I'll do that every single day. And I've created a yearly habit tracker for myself. Then you also need to create rewards for yourself. So potentially weekly rewards or monthly rewards. That's the best that I've found for myself. And the goal for the week might be get 100 points. And once I've gotten 100 points, I get a certain reward. The goal for the month maybe get 400 points. And once I've hit that, I get a certain reward. So now you've created a positive feedback loop for yourself. The next problem is going to be, what do you say to people? And so I had no idea what to say. So the guy who got me to do this task, and I was on board. I got the 5 points that I knew I needed, but I didn't know what to say to people when I was in that situation. That's what I struggled with. So I started reading books and taking courses online, watching YouTube videos, and I found 2 super duper easy things you can say to people anywhere. The first is, "Hi, how are you?" or "Hi, how's your day going?" Something super simple like that just starts the conversation going. The next thing you could also do is just give a compliment on someone's character trait, like, "Oh, I like your style, like you're lifting heavy weights, I can't believe how strong you are," something that just compliments someone's character, and that just also gets the conversation flowing. So they're the 2 things all you need to do. Try and alternate between as one. So maybe you're going outside and you've got to interact with someone, just ask, "Hi, how are you?" The next conversation, give them a compliment on a character trait, and keep alternating between those 2. So that's 2 simple things you can start to do to initiate a conversation. Now, once you've initiated a conversation, how do you keep it going? How do you keep it flowing? Well, that's where the book How to Win Friends and Influence People had the most impact on me. I read the book and started applying the things in the book, the principles he talks about. And so the first instance where I really realised how impactful this is when I was at my mum's friend's dinner party, and there was some people there that I didn't know, and I wanted to try and apply what I was learning from How to Win Friends and Influence People. So there was this guy, and he started talking to me, and I realised that this is the perfect opportunity to apply it. And I started asking questions about himself, what he does for work, what he does for fun, and he started telling me he was a truck salesman, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting, tell me more." He started talking about his career, then I started talking about his hobbies and how he goes to the French Alps and starts skiing. And then the whole night he didn't stop talking. That was because I asked a few simple questions to him. And so that's when I started to realise how impactful the book is. And the 3 main principles that I try and apply every time to keep a conversation flowing is remember people's names, get them talking about themselves, and then become genuinely interested in what they have to say. The reason you want to remember people's names, I've realised, is that when you say someone's name, they're always going to listen and respond. So sometimes someone might be doing something, I try to talk to them, and they'll just ignore me, so it creates a negative feedback loop. But now I start to say people's names and then ask them, and whenever you say someone's name, even if they're doing something, they'll stop doing it and listen to what you have to say. It's like an automatic response that we have. So that's why you have to remember people's names. Then get them talking about themselves. Once someone gets talking about themselves, they love talking about themselves, so they'll keep doing it. And if you're genuinely interested in what they have to say, it's easy to think of new ways to keep the conversation flowing. Because I was interested in what this guy had to say about his skiing. I was interested in that he was a salesman of a cement truck. I've never heard of anything like that before. I wanted to know more. So once you've initiated the conversation, just asking, "Hey, how are you?" Giving them a compliment, keep it going, ask for their name, try and get them talking about themselves, and once they do, find something that you're interested in and want to know more about, and keep asking questions about that. A fear I had still was, what if someone didn't say anything back? That's the whole point of creating this game. We've changed the feedback loop. Before, the feedback loop was if we initiated conversation and someone didn't respond, that was negative. We'd come back into our shell and would stop doing that, and if someone had a negative response to what we said, would come back into our shell, and creating this negative feedback loop. But Now we've changed the feedback loop. Every time you initiate a conversation, you get points. You get rewarded for that. You get rewarded for taking the action, not for other people's responses. So if you go and talk to that guy at the bus stop and he doesn't say anything, you still get the points. If you can talk to your friend and they don't say anything, you still get the points. If you go and talk to someone at work and they give you a negative response, you still get the points because you initiate the conversation. So we've changed the feedback loop where it's constantly positive, and then the more points we get, the more we get rewarded by the rewards we set for ourselves at the end of the week and at the end of the month. That's the power of this game. It can really transform your social skills, and it's transformed my social skills and my confidence to be able to deal with social situations. Now, I hope you've written down the 5 levels and the 5 points. You've got yourself a daily habit tracker that you can track every single day, and now you've got rewards for yourself. You've given yourself rewards once you get to a certain amount of points. I hope you really apply this as transform my social skills, and it'll transform your social skills. If you have any questions, let me know. Please subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next video.